What's happening, everybody? 10:02 on the Fan, Tiki and Tierney Show. Oh, yeah. Order's been restored. Back to your home, Nets. We know who runs the city. I got a couple of questions for you, Teak, okay? First, a statement and a question. Now, the statement is this, and it's been uttered by many, and I don't really challenge it, although somebody's making me, all right? So, you hear this a lot. The NBA's the league of superstars. Can't win without one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, true.
NBA's the league of superstars. Can't win without one. That's pretty fair. Why is Jalen Brunson not a superstar? And before you answer, I don't mean what the media says, what Barkley says, what Shaq says, what sneakers he sells, what commercials he's on. In terms of impacting winning on a night-to-night basis and elevating everybody around him in an incredible manner, the efficiency through the chart, the acumen through the roof, the professionalism, absolutely what we've been craving forever. Why is Jalen Brunson not a superstar?
Because he's not a superstar.
Says who?
He hasn't won any of the requisite awards, MVPs, or he wasn't even an All-Star this year. Now that was a slight.
Please, but you got to have more ammo than that.
True. But hold on. He just doesn't.
That's the greatest injustice of the NBA season, honestly,
without a doubt. But he wasn't even an All-Star.
I know he wasn't.
So he can't. He's not a superstar because he's not a superstar yet. Now, first of all, he doesn't look like a superstar.
Oh God.
He doesn't have the pedigree of a superstar.
What does that mean?
Meaning,
pedigree.
Think about LeBron James when he came into the league. LeBron James you just kind of knew he was going to be the man.
He's one of a kind.
Think about Kobe when Kobe came into the league. He just knew he was going to be the man. Joel Embiid, even though he hasn't really won anything yet, but he just feels like a superstar.
Oh, but we'll make him a superstar because people say he's a superstar.
Well, I mean,
but what's he won? Nothing.
He hasn't even won an MVP yet, even though he's probably been robbed of that a couple times, but that's neither here nor there. Giannis, he's a superstar.
I agree with that.
Right? You look at these guys who have won championships and they're elite, and there's other guys who are really damn good, who kind of have to earn it. And the reason Jalen Brunson isn't viewed as a superstar is because he's one of those players that, unfortunately, because he's great right now, has to prove it. And I'm not being a hater, but I'm being real. Think about Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard was with the Spurs, and we kind of we paid attention. He's really damn good. He won Defensive Player of the Year.
But he needed to do it on his own up in Toronto.
Well,
to
not
an
only
extent.
that, but he needed to prove it, and he needed to win.
All right.
And then he did it.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, Kawhi Leonard's a superstar. And then he subsequently has disappeared, and we don't even talk about him anymore. Paul George, another example. Paul George, carries himself as a superstar. He's not a superstar.
I don't think so.
He's a really damn good player. And why? Because he hasn't won anything yet. And there's tons of other examples of players like that.
What's Doncic won? What's Jason Tatum won? What's Jason Tatum
hold
won?
on. Luka is.
What's Lillard won?
Well, Jason Tatum is becoming a superstar because he's one of these elite scorers, and you can see him
Brunson,
leading
25
his
a night.
team. I know, but I think it's the path. I think it's the path that you take. And it's unfortunate because Luka was a star before he dribbled one second in the NBA because of, where he came from. And you saw him dominating this international circuit. And then he came to the NBA and it was just the same. He looked like he was unaffected by playing against the best players in the world, being in the NBA.
I think he's throwing pens.
So I think the reason I can't say Jalen Brunson. I love Jalen Brunson, by the way. I think his basketball IQ, he buys into exactly what Tibbs is espousing. He helps this team lift and grow and be better. Hell, he makes the guys around him better. Julius Randle is an all-star and a much better player because of Jalen Brunson. But Jalen Brunson hasn't hit that superstar status yet. And I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he's the player that has to earn it. And we know what we're talking about. There's other guys you just anoint them superstars.
But that's my point. That doesn't mean that it's right. And that's what I'm challenging right now. So certain players are concoctions of the media, and they get a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. And by the way, I'm going to rip through some players. They are all amazing. And Giannis and Joker and Doncic, undeniable superstars despite two of those three guys yet to win anything. I give you that, no doubt. LeBron's at this stage more of a legend than a true superstar. More of a legend.
Yes.
Okay.
Still a great player.
Oh, there's no doubt. But he's I don't even think LeBron's a top 10 player. When you look at some of the numbers, he's not healthy now, and he's been trending in that direction, and his team's going nowhere. Steph has been banged up. Superstar, no doubt, but he's been banged up. Damian Lillard, who was amazing. Every once in a while, he'll drop this 65 or 70-point game, and he truly is amazing. What's he won? He's won nothing.
Yeah.
All right, Jason Tatum, amazing. He's won nothing yet. Maybe that changes. Embiid, generally hailed as a superstar. He's won nothing. So to me, I look at somebody like Jalen Brunson, who has had to take the less desirable route, second-round pick, okay, coming off the bench. Getting a chance when this is going back to last year in Dallas, when the true superstar goes down to really open our. Oh wow,
drop
50, 40. You see what Brunson did? Wow, Brody had 40 last night against who was that? The Jazz, whatever it was in the first round. Oh, he had 35 against. He just lit it up in the postseason, and he opened his eyes. And now he comes to New York, and the Knicks are suddenly a team that matters. And there is nobody that can convince me that the Knicks don't have a puncher's chance to go where I said that they could go a week and a half ago. That's the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks are legitimate. And I can't wait to Sunday night to go up to Boston. I can't wait Friday night to go down to Miami. This Knicks story is amazing. And I'll tell you something else about Jalen Brunson. To me, Jalen Brunson, and it hit me last night. I have not said this on the air. Jalen Brunson has a lot of Derek Jeter in him. He is he's a throwback. His IQ and instinct and intangibles, some measurables, obviously intangibles are not. Many things are. But the mental, the depth of his mind and how it impacts not just himself, but the entire team is Jeter-like.
Yeah, but
it really is.
But he's not a superstar.
And by the way, Jeter was never the best player in baseball, never even close, which is why it's an even really good analogy. I mean, there were points. It was A-Rod, it was Nomar, it was other players who were, better shortstops until it was October, ninth inning. You need a base hit, Jeter's going to give it to you. And to me, Brunson, he just brings a lot of Jeter to the table. And you don't want to grant the fact that he's a superstar. That's fine. I get that.
But
people resist it.
But that's the point.
I think it's unfair. I think he's on the path. I think he's amazing. And I think it's the best move that it is on the short list. Earl the Pearl Monroe coming for the second championship. Getting Allen Houston from the Pistons. Maybe trading for Spree. It is on the short list of all-time Knick moves. This guy is a killer.
Well, here's the reason you're bringing this up, I think, is because we talk about to win in the NBA, you need a superstar. The Knicks kind of don't have a superstar.
Well, they don't? Did you not hear the first time? That's what my point. They do.
But I don't think he's classified as a superstar
I don't care what anybody thinks.
Until he wins something. Now, I love the guy because he's got this high IQ, this basketball IQ. We talk about it all the time. If you don't have players like that, it's really hard to win in the NBA. And you look at guys, and I'm biased here because he's a UVA kid, but Malcolm Brogdon, he's that high IQ player. Wherever he's been, he's just kind of been this glue player. He's never going to be a superstar, Malcolm Brogdon. So I'm not comparing him to Jalen Brunson, but you need players like that. And it's almost a service to those colleges like Villanova with Jay Wright, like Virginia over the last 15 years with Tony Bennett, who put out these 3-4 year seniors or juniors who know basketball. It's not just I'm a great athlete.
Yep.
I'm going to walk in at 19 and I'll figure it out because I'm a great athlete. Mm-hmm. It's they have this basketball IQ, and Jalen Brunson has that because he was well coached in college. He grinded his way.
He grew up with his dad, who was a grinder as well.
Great.
Tough
That's
as
right.
nails.
So it's I don't want to say it's genetic, but it kind of is. It's in the genes.
He's got the disposition.
Right? He's got the
Throwback.
disposition.
Yeah.
And then he had to work his way into being that guy in Dallas. But when given his opportunity, you're right, 41 he had against the Jazz in that playoff game. He's turned himself into that player. He can become a superstar, but it's going to take winning. And if he does it with the Knicks, nobody's going to ignore him anymore. Like, you know how it's the All-Star or the Pro Bowler or whatever the accolade may be. Sometimes you got to earn it. It's like reputational.
Yeah,
guys end up making it when they shouldn't, and the newcomer has to really bore his way in before it becomes consistent. If Jalen Brunson keeps playing the way that he's playing,
the
Knicks keep rising the way that they're rising,
they're going to.
I might have to start buying into your Eastern Conference Final Knicks thing here. And I knew they were going to destroy the Brooklyn Nets yesterday. I didn't get the score right, but I got the spread right.
You pretty much nailed how many points they were going to win by.
Yeah, they destroyed Brooklyn.
They just piece by piece systematically ripped them apart.
It was methodical.
Yeah.
It was textbook.
It was crazy.
But that's what you're supposed to.
It was almost boring, which sounds odd.
True.
Because I wanted to see Brunson get 50, but he didn't have to play that much at the end.
But when you're playing teams that are inferior to you, you know it. They know it. The league knows it. Everybody in the arena knows it. You're supposed to do what they did. And that's the most encouraging sign I've seen from the Knicks in a long time.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. I mean, you absolutely have to love what these cats bring to the table every night. There is an old school investment. There's an old school integrity. There's an old school connection. There's efficiency. There's passion. It's a diverse roster. They've got shooters. They've got defenders. They've got depth. I mean, the Knicks matter. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, man. If you watch the Knicks and you don't see it, you don't know basketball, or you don't really care. And
no,
that's
you don't
fine.
care.
That's fine.
That's what it is.
That's
you don't
fine.
care.
Not everybody's as dialed in as I am. I get that. I watch this team when I got nobody.
They're going to catch Cleveland. That's happening.
There's no doubt they're going to catch. Cleveland lost last night.
Yep, and they're in real close striking range of Philly.
And if they don't catch Cleveland, they're going to beat Cleveland in the playoffs.
That's right.
No, they are.
Yeah.
And it'll be Philly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree, man.
The train's moving, and this is your last day to get on. And trust me,
day.
Well, we acknowledge if you get on now, you're in the caboose. You're not sitting in the you're not in the quiet car.
Can I edge my way? Can I edge my way to the front?
Yeah, well,
what if I help,
you're not. Honestly, no.
What if I help you get like good seats?
What, VIP because you're tiki? No, I don't need you for that, man. I'm driving this Knick train. I'm in charge of the Knick train.
Seats
no, we have the front car stacked. Because we never left.
Oh.
Guys like you're not quite in the caboose because we have respect for you, but you're not in the front car.
I don't need to be.
Well, then stop asking.
I wasn't asking.
You just asked me if you could come join us.
You're trying to get me. You're trying to get me to go there.
I don't need you to come with us.
Hey, Teak, there's a big party happening up at the front of the train. You want to come? Never mind. They won't
deep down, you want to.
They won't let you in. Never mind.
Because you're going to lament, missing out on the excitement, the pure joy that this team brings the city when they are good.
They are fun to watch,
and they are good. All right, let's get to the phones. Let's get to you, Freddie Hackensack. First up, Tiki and Tierney. Freddie, what's happening?
Good morning, fellas. The first one, awesome. Listen, I have a quick point and I have a question for both of you.
What up?
My point is with Jalen Brunson. I think he's knocking on the door. He's banging on the door to become a superstar. I think that if he did not have Luka in Dallas, he would have been a superstar already. Because the ball, once Luka gets the ball in his hands, the ball stops.
Yeah.
So no one he doesn't make anyone better. Hence, look at their record right now. They're not even that good with Kyrie on the team.
They've lost 4 or 5 with Kyrie.
They're terrible in the clutch. Terrible.
Right. So I think Jalen Brunson is banging on that door, and I think he's on his way to be that superstar, sooner than later. My question is to you. Everyone was complaining about Tibbs' rotation. Was something said because he was stuck on his old ways? Was something said to him that you guys know about? Because now, it's a 9-man rotation, and all of a sudden they're just winning. Assistant coaches, GMs come to him and say, "Hey, Tibbs, listen, you got to switch it up, man. What's going on?" You guys know anything about that? And thank you, I appreciate it.
No, you got it, man. Listen, I don't think there was a mandate like you must do this, you must alter the rotation, or you're fired. I just think it's an intelligent basketball mind who was able to process what was in front of him, and he showed great adaptability that he never gets credit for.
I think
that's what it comes down to.
Honestly, I think it was Jalen Brunson. I think Tibbs was constantly trying to find, and this is speculation from afar, so I have no idea if this is, nobody's telling me from the inside, Tibbs was trying to find this guy. I think he has constantly been trying to find someone who understands what he's trying to teach or trying to espouse as a coach. Mm-hmm. You got to play this way. You got to bring the ball up this way. You got to play defense this way. And once Jalen Brunson got on this team, he found that guy. And so you don't need to play Derek. Derek knew it. Derrick Rose knew it. But Derrick Rose is 50 now. You know what I mean? Not really, but he's old and he's beat up. Evan Fournier, he's more of a vet. Maybe Evan will get this. Maybe he'll translate this to the team for me. Whoever. He was just experimenting, trying to find someone who would buy in. And Jalen Brunson just got it. He gets it. And as you've seen over the last really 3-4 weeks, this team is playing at a level that puts him as one of the best teams in the East.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
It's not.
That is a true statement.
The record's not showing
Forget
it yet.
about that.
But over the last month or so, a little bit less than a month or so, this is one of the best teams in the NBA. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
And it's because Jalen Brunson and Tom Thibodeau are speaking for each other. And we always talk. I always think about this as a football player. You have a coach who's screaming, "We got to do this, we got to do that." If it's not translating through the players to the rest of the team, it doesn't matter. He's screaming in from the mountaintop and nobody's listening. But as soon as you start to get the buy-in from the leaders, and in this case Jalen Brunson, who then also disseminates the same message, that's when it really starts to take effect. That's what I believe. That's why I think the rotation has gotten shorter, because he's not searching for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it.
He also had the, for a coach, it's going to seem like a contradiction, but I think he had the unenviable task of almost having too many quality players. Like most teams,
but
I know
not a great player.
That sounds ludicrous. Well, what coach wouldn't want that issue to have to navigate 11 or 12 really good players? Yes, but as you allocate roles and you define the principles of the team, and it's not easy with Cam Reddish. You're like, I know that this guy's interesting, but he's not really doing what I need to do on defense, but I got to play him a little. And Sims is interesting, but he's not quite ready. And McBride is interesting, and Grimes is, but he's not there yet. Like, it was almost like there were too many bodies.
But they were all the same.
And if they were the same.
Not the same, not the same, not the same player.
Skill set?
Not the same skill set. But if there's no difference between who's elite and who's good, if that difference is not big, you kind of get lost. But if it's, all right, we got Jalen Brunson now, Julius Randle is great, these guys have to play. Yeah. They have to hit this minute allotment. I don't care if it's at the expense of one of these good players, but who aren't on the same level. Yeah,
I think, yes. And I think the question that the caller asked, is there some sort of organizational mandate to disperse minutes differently? No, I don't think that happens. I don't think that they would ever do that to a veteran coach like Thibs. And if they did, that would be the wrong thing to do organizationally. What I think may have happened is because Leon Rose and Thibs are close. I think at some point there may have been a conversation, hey, listen, coach, I know we got a couple of guys with big contracts. Do what you got to do. I'm fine. Yeah. I won't hold it against you. I won't take it personally. And that applies to somebody like, not that Derrick Rose is a big contract, but Fournier's making decent money. Mm-hmm. So I think that there was some sort of unspoken exchange, or maybe even spoken. Hey, coach the team how you need to coach them, and you coach, we'll run the team. In terms of the other stuff, and it's working out. Like, the Knicks went from a mess to a pretty cohesive, well-gelled situation. Mm-hmm. And Thibodeau is in the middle of all of it and deserves a ton of respect. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Knick fans, stand up. I know you're loving it. Back to your calls in a moment on the Fan.